On this episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast, we talk about Lower Form Resistance by Dissimulator. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Bronze Metalist podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
We're two professional broadcasters. We like metal and we like to talk about it. And today we're talking about a new album from a band from Montreal, Canada, called Dissimulator. We're on a Francophile kick.
Kind of, yeah.
Or Francophone kick.
Francophone.
We're not on a kick of bands who just really like France.
Yeah. Or we're not into Francophilia.
I'm only attracted to people who are from France.
And oddly, that they like to fuck frogs.
Or people named Frank.
People named Frank. Possible.
Could be that.
Or
could be people named
hot
Frank.
dogs.
Or hot dogs.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah, we'll talk about Dissimulator later on. It's a pretty interesting sort of thrash death with a dash of like kind of grindcore attitude and sort of production style
kind of
and
avant-garde sort of.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot of style that I really like that we'll dig into a little bit later. But first, we'll catch up. How you doing?
Doing fantastic.
Good.
We had a good remote today.
Yeah, there's a remote broadcast today.
Yeah, we helped donate food, bring food to a food bank, and And I even did after work. I'm like, because I wanted a manwich spaghetti.
Oh, so you dropped by and you.
So I dropped by at Cashwise, and
cool.
and they give me the flyer. I'm like, hey, this is like all the same shit that I'm buying for me. I'll just buy double and hand them one of the bags.
Hell yeah, good on you.
That's what I did.
Your fucking manwich spaghetti.
Yeah.
I shouldn't knock it because I haven't tried it, and Lord knows that if I see a red Italian sauce, I'm like, I'll put that on a spaghetti.
Manwich is not Italian.
Yeah,
sauce.
I know it's not, but I'm just saying I am by no means a spaghetti snob. Like when I'm going through the grocery store, I'm like, okay, which one of these are you supposed to put on spaghetti? Because I don't know.
Right.
My mom makes homemade spaghetti sauce.
See, I can do that too. I've done that with fresh garlic and onion and basil and garden tomatoes and olive oil. I
unfortunately have not had a can of my mom's homemade sauce. Sure. Or not a can, a jar. A jar, rather.
I know what you mean. Because she cans it.
Yeah. I have not had a jar of it in a while. And supposedly the stocks this summer are not going to be particularly plentiful because there haven't been many tomatoes, I guess. And apparently my brother-in-law said, I'll buy you tomatoes, Brenda. Please make it. Can you please make? I'll go to the farmer's market and buy you as many tomatoes as you need. Just please make the sauce.
No, I have a very good friend of mine who's actually an Italian chef who makes a very fine spaghetti sauce.
Ooh,
and I could get you some of that.
I'd be sure. Yeah.
His name is Boiardi.
Oh, okay. See, so many people.
Actually, here's the funny thing: is when I told the story, I was like, "this is gonna be a joke. I'm gonna take out my Chef Boyardee," and then as I'm finishing it, I'm like, "Well, no, that's actually fucking true. I actually do know an Italian chef who makes that sauce." So many
varied people where if it's mildly believable, I will probably believe you unless you have an active shit-eating grin on your face.
I'd be a terrible poker player.
You could definitely get me with that, but I'm also kind of lazy when it comes to biscotti. I almost said biscotti.
That's fine. We'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm kind of lazy.
3-year-old Kale.
Biscotti. I'm lazy with it because I don't usually have fresh beef in my apartment. So I don't often, have ground beef. I can't do words tonight. Ground beef.
Yeah. Beef?
Good old beef. I don't usually, have a beef with a meat sauce, as it were.
Right. I mean, it's easy. They ground it for you.
Yeah, I know it's easy, but I just don't usually have it on hand because I don't plan my meals in advance. I get home and I'm like, what do I want to make that will take a half an hour, if not less time?
I mean, it would only take an extra 5 minutes to drop by the grocery store on your way home.
Then I would have to leave.
Oh, you'd have to get in your car. You walk, so yeah.
Yeah, I would have to. I mean, like. It's not like getting in the car is not the problem. It's just leaving the house immediately after I got home from work.
Right. See, it's easy for me because I got to drive home anyway, and there are 2 grocery stores between here and my house. By.
Like it's ultimately not that inconvenient, but it's just because I'm a lazy hermit.
Crab.
I'm a lazy hermit crab.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. Coconut crabs?
Yeah.
How they're, the
terrifying?
Terrifying and huge.
Yeah.
They're technically hermit crabs.
Really?
When they're little, they use shells like other hermit crabs, and eventually they get so big they can no longer find shells that fit them, and so their abdomen that would normally be soft just hardens.
Neat. Can you eat coconut crab?
Yeah. Apparently they're not all that tasty. There are some dishes in that part of the world where you can find them that do use coconut crab, but apparently they are not particularly good to eat. I think part of that is just because they're so damn big,
and tough.
Yeah, apparently they don't taste all that great, but you have to really season the shit out of them, I guess.
Oh, sure. Can't just dip them in lemon and butter.
Yeah. It's not quite as simple. And then you have to kill the fucking things.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, a spear will absolutely just, sharp stick will definitely kill a coconut crab. But man, they're freaky.
They are freaky.
That I saw a video. I want to say it was Christmas Island. One of the, Australian islands.
Right.
And there were some Australian guys at a golf course, and while their bag was unattended, a coconut crab crawled up their golf bag and got a claw on, I think, 3 or 4 of their clubs at the same time and snapped 2 of them in half.
Okay.
Yeah, they're scary.
That's terrifying.
They will absolutely take a finger if you're not careful.
Oh, wow, I completely interpreted that the wrong way.
You went the Steve Irwin route.
How many fingers will a coconut crab take?
I don't know where you'd put them.
I don't know either.
I'm not familiar with the orifices of crabs. I guess you could probably put it in their mouth.
But you wouldn't want to.
You wouldn't want to.
No.
But yeah, they're scary. They're also, while they are technically hermit crabs, like other hermit crabs, they are not technically crabs.
Sure, right. They're a crustacean.
Yes, but they are not a true crab,
right,
as it were. They're a product of carcinization, which is, I think, still a fairly viral sort of science term. People found out about it and then meme the shit out of it to the point where people start believing that everything's becoming crabs, and it's like, no, if you were just a hard-shelled creature that lives in the ocean, being shaped like a crab is convenient.
Yeah,
that's the only context in which that really works.
It's a very good shape to have.
Yeah, that's why the animals have it, because it's efficient. But yeah. Anyway, I don't remember where that started or why.
So you were talking about the food drive, talking about
manwich, spaghetti, meat, and then somehow we mentioned coconut crabs, and here we are.
Did I tell you I got a dog? Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about that last week.
Right.
How's that been going since then?
Okay, well, he hasn't really been staying with me a whole lot.
Okay.
First of all, I work 14-hour days.
Yeah.
Usually Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. Yeah. So, and he's a new dog to my home, and he's skittish anyway. So I can't just leave him alone in my apartment. This skittish nervous animal for 14 hours.
Yeah.
So I let him stay with his mom and dad.
Okay.
Yeah. In their apartment.
With all the children.
With all the children. So that's where he's been hanging out. And I go over and I pet him and make sure he remembers me. And he's going to try to come visit. And speaking of visiting, my daughter's going to be here tomorrow.
Your daughter's coming up from Arizona? She lives in Arizona?
In the Phoenix area.
The Phoenix area.
Her and her husband live there, so
nice.
They are coming to visit, and she's going to stay with me, and we're going to have a good time.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to go to my second youngest child's 18th birthday.
Nice. Should be a good time.
Yeah.
A good time hanging out with the fam.
Hanging out with the fam.
With the family.
Mm-hmm.
I guess this hadn't happened as of last week.
What?
I got approved for the apartment I was looking at. So I'm going to be moving in starting October 10th.
Mm-hmm. It's my dad's birthday.
Well, happy early birthday to Barry.
Yeah.
Starting October 10th, I'll be moving stuff over. The big moving day will be the 12th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I thought I was going to be all the way moved out of here and could terminate the lease on that day. But I don't know if that's feasible because according to the termination agreement that I have not signed yet, the paperwork, they want my keys back by noon on that day. Which if I'm having a bunch of people come over and help me move out and then we're going to do, all of the cleaning once everything is moved out of here, so it's easier to clean, that's not really feasible to have the keys out of here by noon.
Do you think you're going to get your deposit back on this place?
No, I don't think so.
So I'm wondering why you're cleaning.
Because you're supposed to.
They have a hired crew specifically for that task.
I don't know. It just seems polite. I mean, the crew is doing carpet cleaning.
Sure.
The rest of it, I don't want to cause problems. I'm not, there are definitely things about this place that I'm not fond of, and that's why I'm leaving. But I don't want to piss people off.
Right. Well, I tell you know what really cleans a place? A nice fire.
Sure.
A good cleansing fire.
Yes, now that I don't have renter's insurance in this place anymore.
Well, if you get your stuff out.
That's not the thing.
I mean, all your stuff's at a different place. There's nothing to worry about.
No. So I texted my manager here at this building asking her, like, hey, is that like a hard rule? I know it's on paper, but do you need the keys by noon, or can I drop them off like in the Dropbox at one of the offices that evening? Is that going to be a big problem or not? Am I going to get in trouble, or should I move the end of the lease forward if that's even possible at the end? Because if that's not possible, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do. I asked for that Thursday and Friday off. Our boss hasn't been around to approve that. But I don't see any reason why I wouldn't get those days off. I asked for those days off. So if I can't move the end of the lease forward, then in theory, I would still probably have my parents to help me out because they're, neither of them work anymore. Right. So they can come up here, and I'm sure I could find somebody else to help out maybe. But so I'm anxious because I'm waiting to hear back about that. It's always something. There's always something that I'm going to be anxious about. And then once that's done, I'll go back to being anxious about
other things.
Are they going to try and fuck with me for little things wrong with this place? Like one of the cabinets doesn't close all the way because at one point when I was opening it, something in one of the hinges exploded and sent little bits of plastic flying, and there was actually a spring in there that went flying at some point. So there's a lot of little stuff that's sort of built up that I should have gotten fixed, but it was because it was a little thing and it wasn't, a major inconvenience for me, I didn't bother with it, because it's just how I am.
But those are kind of built up at this point.
I know. I know, but like, that's just how I am. Where it's like, oh, that thing's not working, but it's not causing me a problem, so I don't care. Which is not a great way to be. I know that, but it's like, if something's not actively causing me an issue, then I tend to let it slide. And I don't know.
Are you going to fix them all now?
I will probably kind of have to, because as I learned when I was on the phone with the manager today, when we were like talking, straightening out some of the stuff, as I learned, they might show this place before I've moved out.
Right.
Which I hate that. I really don't like that.
I still say redecorate it to look like a crime scene.
Like
chalk outline.
Ultimately, I don't think it's that uncommon for, property managers or landlords to do that sort of thing, but it just feels gross. Like, it feels like an invasion of my privacy to have people in here looking at all my stuff.
Right.
Like, I'm not worried about anything getting stolen, but it's just like, this is my space. Like, it's not like selling a house. Yeah, this is my space.
Is Tom going to be here?
It's me, Tom. No, it's like, this is my space. Like, it's not like when you're selling a house, like, that's a choice that you're making.
Right.
Like having, an agent come in before you've moved out, and, you're having your realtor show the place off. Like, that's a choice that you're making. This isn't my choice. I don't get to say, no, you're not allowed to show this place before I moved out. I don't have that option.
It's probably in your lease that they're allowed to do that.
Yeah. And that it's just gross. I don't like that at all. And like, I don't know how deep are they going to look at stuff? Like, are they just going to walk in and show the rooms, or are they like, are they going to walk into my fucking bedroom? There's only 3 rooms in this apartment.
Right.
Like, I guess they're going to walk into my bedroom, which I hate that. Are they going to look in my closets? Like, it makes me really uncomfortable.
Gosh,
I really hate it.
I don't know if I want to rent this place until I find out how my naked butt feels on the carpet. Is it okay if I do that?
Like that, like none of that stuff is going to happen. It just feels wrong. I don't like the way it feels. I'm not the most private person in the world, but I'm fairly private. Like I don't know. It's really fucking with me, the idea of it. And they will let me know in advance if they're going to do that. And there's no, guarantee that they are going to do that, because she said, I always try to show vacant places first.
Right.
But I don't know if there's going to be a vacant place for her to show someone. And like the place that I'm moving into, that company, they don't do that. And I know they don't do that. Yeah, because they have models, and that's what I got shown. I didn't get shown the unit that I was going to move into explicitly because the person was still there.
Sure.
Like, and the manager told me, she was like, you can be there if you want. And I didn't say anything. It was like, under no circumstances do I want to be there. I don't want to be standing around while someone else walks around my apartment looking at it. Like, that's going to be awkward.
A wife beater and a tutu.
It just feel like, because then I'm going to have to watch these people's reaction to them looking at all my stuff. That's fucking awkward. Like, I'm a massive nerd. I don't want them walking into my kitchen and going like, why has he got all these little plastic figurines on shelves next to his table? Why is there a grid taped to the tabletop?
What's this map on the wall?
What are all like yeah, they're gonna look at all my D&D and nerd shit, and I don't want to see the judgment on those people's faces. And it's also part of why I don't want them looking at my shit in the first place, because even if I'm not there, I'm going to be like, what are these people thinking about me? It doesn't matter because I don't know them and will probably never meet them, but I'm still going to think about it. The whole thing just stinks and I hate it.
Just by the way, for the record out there, Kale does make you sign an NDA before entering his apartment.
Exactly.
Yeah, you can't talk about what you see here.
Yeah, actually, I've got several pending lawsuits against you for
me personally
for, saying stuff about this place.
Right. I mentioned his cat
in the
once.
podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing just makes me uncomfortable, and I don't. It just feels. It feels like an invasion of my privacy, because it is. Right. But it's one that I signed off on more or less unknowingly. Not that the unknowingly part matters. Right. Because that's how legal shit works. But so, yeah.
Even if you knew contract law, I mean.
Yeah, it's ultimately it'll be fine, but it's just another thing that has got me anxious and slightly upset, and that I just want to be over with. It's like, why did it have to be so far in the future? Can't I just go now, please? That's another problem with I think a big source of a lot of anxieties for me is I am for certain things deeply impatient. There are some things that I feel like I have a lot more patience for, and there are certain things that I just don't have any patience for whatsoever. And when it comes time to do those things, I want to do them now. Right. Get it over with, get it done, get it out of the way, and then I don't have to be anxious about it anymore.
Which is why when I was on the phone with my daughter this evening, I looked up at the clock and went, oh, I'm 3 minutes late. Kale's going to start punching walls if I don't get out of here.
Well, I mean, when you texted me, I was like, you've got like 12 minutes. You won't like it.
Well, normally I leave it 1:45.
Oh, okay.
And yeah.
But no, and that's anytime that you, honestly, like, it bothered me more when you used to show up 15 minutes early. It doesn't bother me so much when you show up late, as long as you let me know you're going to be late. That's fine. When you show up like 15 minutes early and I'm still listening to the album.
Right. Because I didn't get hot chicken nuggets on a plate.
Yeah. Because I didn't know when you were going to get here. Right. That's what bothered me. Yeah. As long as you let me know you're going to be a little late, that's fine. That doesn't bother me at all. But like,
so I'm one of those irritating people who I'm in the habit of being places early, because on time is late. Yeah. 15 minutes early is on time.
It depends on the context. Yeah. I think if you're just going over to a friend's house, on time is on time.
On time is on time.
Yeah.
Something I've really had a hard time explaining to my 13-year-old. If we're like going to a movie, he'll look up and movie starts at 7:00. And then he'll be like, okay, well, 7:00 is a half hour from now. We can just sit around here for a half hour. I'm like, no.
Don't want to.
No, we can't. We have to go to there. We have to get our popcorn. We have to get into our seat.
Like, it's going to be a process. Yeah. That makes sense. Right. That sort of stuff takes time. I always try to be a little early for appointments and stuff. Sure. But like, I don't want to be so early because I don't want things to be awkward where I show up and they're like clearly not ready for me, and then I just have to sit there. I don't again, because I don't like waiting for certain things, because I don't have that much patience.
My appointment was at 10 a.m. It is 10:05. Why am I not being called?
Again, if it's a little bit late, I'm talking about when I show up too early and then have to sit and wait because my appointment isn't for another 20 minutes, but I left a half an hour early. Right. So I just have to sit there and wait for ever and ever and ever. I don't like that.
You know what I do love to do, though? When I like go to the dentist's office and it's me and just one other person I don't know in there, get a magazine and sit right next to them.
You're a monster.
Oh, I love that.
You're a monster. You're Mussolini, Stalin, Hitler, and you.
Oh.
Yeah. The history's worst monsters. Do you go and stand next to people at the urinal too?
I use the same urinal. Yeah.
I was reminded of a Justin McElroy quote where it's like, if you take or if you use up a toilet roll, it's something about a toilet roll. It's either if you use up a toilet roll or you take a toilet roll, it's a victimless crime.
Right.
If you use up or take the last toilet roll, you are history's worst monster.
You're Pol Pot.
But anyway.
Yeah,
let's talk about Dissimulator. Speaking of Pol Pot. So no, Dissimulator is a band from Montreal, Canada. They are a band that would probably best be described as a death thrash band, sort of along the lines of like a Revocation, or even like Horrendous a little bit,
kind of
as well. Horrendous leans more in the progressive territory, but similar kind of vibes. Definitely very thrashy, but the vocals are pretty unmistakably death metal, and some of the riffage is a little bit more death metal territory as well. But it's in that kind of late 80s style of where that's where thrash was at anyway, where it was, the death metal that existed at the time was just a heavier, darker thrash.
Right. Although I've noticed at this on times, what it reminds me of, it's like a grindcore kind of situation. And then suddenly it's Anthrax.
A little bit. Yeah, definitely. Like they'll go from sort of style to style. It's not all quite so fluidly mixed together. There are some bits that are definitely much more one genre than the other. But I mean, I didn't know anything about this band until you brought them up to me a few weeks ago.
Right.
I didn't, and I still don't really know anything about them other than the fact that they're from Montreal.
They're mysterious. It's really hard to find out, who they are. I
mean, I think they're new. This is their first album, and I don't know anything that they've done from before this. This is the first thing, the only thing that's available, like on their Spotify page. Anyway,
and as we determined, this is not the band
that Jared Dines was in.
No.
YouTube metal YouTuber Jared Dines. Guitarist, I guess multi-instrumentalist and vocalist, and he used to do like audio engineering too,
right?
Before his
and comedy kind of in a way,
a little bit. I mean, that was the YouTube thing,
right?
He was, before he kind of made it big on YouTube, he had like a deathcore band that was called Dissimulator, and they had I think like 2 albums out at the time. They're pretty small, but like they probably would have been called like a local band at that time.
Sure.
But this is not them.
No.
Because when you brought them up, I was like, the Jared Dines thing? And then I looked it up and I was like, no, this is way different. So I don't know anything about them other than they're Canadian.
Yeah. And I had this, it was somebody that I was talking to online. He just said, have you heard this? This is really good. And I gave it a listen. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah, this is really good.
This is good. I enjoy the shit out of this.
I enjoy the shit. The shit is gone from this after I've listened to it, because I've enjoyed the shit out of it. Like I'm trying to think of more things to say about it.
It's really what can you? I mean,
our words have been failing us these last couple of episodes to really talk about the music.
Well, I think we've picked some things that
they've been good, but also like, okay, what's so good about it?
Yeah, what's different? What does it mean? And a lot of things we've been picking has been just kind of meat and potatoes. Yeah. This is great.
And then that's the end of the conversation. It's like, wow, this is so good. I think I enjoy that we've mentioned it a little bit, where it has a kind of a grindcore vibe to it.
It does.
All of the songs are much longer than you would get on a grindcore album.
Right. And there's a dynamic. I mean, there's to bring that up. I mean, there's actually
our favorite word.
Yeah, the D. Yeah, we're giving you the D. It's I mean, there's one song that starts out really slow.
Yeah, really slow and moody. But then it picks up, but it still stays pretty chuggy.
Yeah.
Throughout the more, the intense sections of it. But yeah, there are definitely, slower and faster songs on here. It's not all, going 100 miles an hour.
Right. I believe that's is it?
Cybermorphism is the one that starts moody.
Yes, that's actually, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think that might be my favorite song.
Yeah, I mean, I knew that one that you were talking about because I have it written down.
Yeah,
Cybermorphism / mainframe,
right?
Where I assume cybermorphism is the intro, effectively, too.
Right, and I love that riff.
Yeah.
Such a tasty riff.
Yes. I mean, there's a lot of tasty riffs on here.
There is.
There's a lot of, again, it's mostly, most of the riffage here is pretty firmly thrash metal, I feel like.
Right.
With some of the production stylings, or the tonal stylings of death metal. Mm-hmm. The writing feels thrash metal, but it's gone through the death metal filter,
right,
with all the pedals and the production style
and the blast beats and the vocals and
the production on this, I feel like, is the thing that most firmly feels like kind of a grindcore thing.
Yeah,
like an upscale grindcore album, because there are plenty of grindcore albums that have absolutely atrocious production, usually kind of on purpose.
Yeah.
I feel like black metal gets so much attention for having purposefully shitty production.
Right.
People don't talk about grindcore in that same way, and they absolutely do the same shit.
Right.
Where it's like, this whole album was recorded on a shitty handheld microphone that was being held underwater in a toilet. Like in a toilet that had been used,
right?
Like
being used at the moment.
Yeah, like that feels like the most grindcore thing possible. Is like this. There was feces on some production equipment,
right?
Here.
Yeah, if they swabbed where this was recorded,
there was shit somewhere in there.
It would be condemned for fecal bacteria.
Like I feel like there's definitely a few different grindcore, but like the more upscale stuff you have, like the last couple Wormrot albums, or
which you heard there kind of broke up, right?
Well, I know I guess I haven't heard anything recently. I know, like, immediately after their most recent album came out, their vocalist left.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard anything since then.
I mean, it's really, they're a duo anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they were a 3-piece, and then they became a duo. So did you see something where they decided they weren't going to continue? Or?
Well, it was a post because I follow them on Facebook, and it was a post by, I don't remember which one posted it, but he says, I'm going to continue. I'm just, we're just not going to be a group anymore.
We're not going to be Wormrot anymore. Yeah. They're going to go and do different things.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that's fair.
Or maybe it's still going to be Wormrot. It's just going to be him and someone else.
Yeah, that could be the case. I don't know. But yeah, like Wormrot, or like Full of Hell, or the fucking Pig Destroyer.
Yes.
The last few Pig Destroyer albums. I mean, like Prowler in the Yard has that's one of their older albums, but that fits into the production isn't bad on Prowler in the Yard, but it's gross.
Yeah.
That's I mean,
they want it to be gross.
Yeah, everything about that album is gross. To be perfectly clear, everything about Prowler in the Yard is disgusting. And it's great, and I like that album, but it's nasty. Headcage was almost disappointingly clean. Because at least it's the last one we've talked about. I don't know if they've put out one since then, but that one is actually kind of disappointing how clean the production was. Nails is another one.
Oh, sure.
I was thinking of for gnarly production.
When's the last time they put out an album?
I don't think they've put out an album since You'll Never Be One of Us. I haven't. I feel it. I don't know if they're still doing anything, because that was like 2016 when that album came out. I think I looked them up like last year sometime, and there was still nothing new. So I don't know what happened there. They put out a single like a year or two after the album came out, and then nothing else. Like, you know, they had Kurt Ballou production on their last two albums, and it was great. Like that middle album there has some of the just angriest and fuzziest production I'd ever heard. And then I don't know what happened to Nails, but I guess they got driven into some wood. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they just got dragged across the chalkboard.
They got hammered. Ba-bam.
Yeah.
Kablowie.
Or maybe they decided not to press on.
Oh, like press on, like fingernails.
Yeah,
I got it. Okay.
There you go. Glad we got there.
Yeah, no, okay.
Yeah.
So Dissimulator.
They're very French.
They are very French.
Very French Canadian.
They are so French.
Like there's
a song that has like a soundbite in it. That's all French.
Yes. That's not mobile automobile.
What?
Mobile.
Oh, the name of the song.
Yeah.
I was like, I thought you were talking about like the source of the soundbite, and I was like, I'm not gonna know this.
Yeah, no, the name of the song.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Is that because that's? Oh no, that's the one with the robot voice in it.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, automobile and Robotoil. That's it.
Robotoil. Okay.
Automobile and Robotoil.
There's some fun song names on here.
Yeah, there are.
I feel like the theming is also pretty squarely like techno horror.
Yeah.
Sort of like it feels, you know, like a Black Mirror episode. The horrors of technology. Which making me think Black Mirror also made me think of Disney trying their hardest to make a real Black Mirror episode with the whole the guy whose wife died of an allergic reaction, and they're like, well, we're not liable because you signed up for Disney Plus.
You can't sue us.
You can't sue us.
And weirdly, there was
backlash about that. Crazy.
They decided, okay, we'll go ahead.
We know our cooks assured you that this allergen was not going to be a problem, and then your wife died anyway, but you signed up for Disney Plus, so you're sorry, but we're not sorry.
Look, man, I know your wife died, but you can watch all the Marvel movies.
Don't you like The Mandalorian? What about Andor? You want to watch Andor?
Arguably the best series in the whole Star Wars saga.
How about Moana? Yeah.
Laura Stitch.
It's so fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
That's so like cyberpunk is slowly becoming real.
Right.
Not the part with the really cool prosthetic technology. No, the predatory mega corporations.
Right.
That part is becoming real. But Dissimulator.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, this album slaps.
It does. Of course, it does.
It slaps. Because this album I feel like it kind of came out of nowhere. There were plenty of reviews of it, but not from some of the bigger publications that I usually try to pull data from. So I wasn't able to really gather anything useful in that regard. But it seems like the gist of some of the reviews that I skimmed is people seem to be pretty fond of this. What is your favorite song? I think we kind of spoiled it already.
Yeah, it's definitely
Cybermorphism Mainframe.
Right.
It's one of the longer songs on here, and it's different. It stands out. It really part of the reason why like earlier in the episode we were kind of struggling to find things to talk about is like a lot of the other songs are really good, but they don't necessarily stand out one from the other super strongly. Each of them has something particular about it that like you would want them to.
Like Robotoil.
But I feel like Cybermorphism stands out the clearest as a high point.
You know, these guys remind me a little bit of another French-Canadian metal band.
Gorguts?
I was going to say Voivod, but...
Voivod.
Yeah.
So they're not quite weird enough to be like Gorguts.
Right. But they are weird enough to be Voivod. It's a different weird.
It's a different weird.
Two different kinds of weird.
Which I don't, Gorguts hasn't done anything in a long time too. Let's see if
wonder if they decided not to press on.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Gorguts is up to lately. They put out that like really long, like 30-minute track in like 2019, I want to say, but I don't know if they've done anything since then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's get to it. What medal are you bestowing upon lower form resistance by Dissimulator, like Maz Kanata to Chewbacca in the film Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, now available on Disney Plus?
Because it's, yes, by the way, sign up for Disney Plus.
So Disney can kill your wife. Fellas, do you want your wife dead? Well, first of all, check if she has any deadly allergies.
Right.
And take her to a Disney resort.
Exactly. Hey, honey, they said there's no shellfish in this.
Legally, that's a joke.
I'm so... It's right on the meridian of gold and silver for me.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I think it's more firmly in silver for me.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna say silver. It's a high silver. I enjoyed it. There's a lot to like in this album, but nothing really grabbed me and pulled me in.
It's very niche.
Yeah, it does feel like a pretty niche type of album. It's the sort of thing I enjoy, but it's not the sort of thing, it's not a daily listen for me.
Right.
So as is often the case, I'm not sure what I want to talk about next week. So I will bring that information to you at a later date, and we'll figure out what we want to talk about later. So thank you, listener, for listening to this episode. Why don't you go ahead and follow our social media pages on Facebook or Twitter? We post new episode links there when they're up. Otherwise, a great way to know when we put something out is to just subscribe to our feed on whatever podcast service you're using to listen to us.
Yes.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of the Bronze Medalist Podcast. I'm Kale.
I'm OJ.
Congratulations.